Hello, everyone. Welcome to BiogasWorld's Eastern Europe Focus Month webinar discussing the challenges and opportunities of the biogas and biomethane market in Eastern Europe. As a reminder, this webinar is being recorded and will be shared with participants following the webinar. In addition, if you have any questions for our presenters, we invite you to write them in the Q&A tab, and we will ask our presenters following their presentations or in the Q&A at the end of the webinar. BiogasWorld hosts new country focus webinars each month to discuss the opportunities and challenges within various markets. Be sure also to join us on our biogas community website for the latest updates and to network with companies in the biogas and biomethane industries. I would like to thank our presenters for joining us today. Ahto Oja, Chairman of the Board of the Estonian Biogas Association, Martyna Mulica-Musiał, Master of Engineering at the Polish Biomethane Organization, and Joaquim Guerreiro Cunha, Business Development Energy Division at Sysadvance. Before we begin, I will briefly share some information about BiogasWorld and an overview of the Eastern European biogas market. BiogasWorld is a commercial platform which offers services to the biogas and biomethane industries. Our services include marketing and business promotion via our wide network of followers, market intelligence services, networking, and our biogas community platform. We have hosted country and region focus months for various national biogas markets over the past year, promoting the industry, companies, and projects located in the focus month regions. Eastern Europe is a quickly developing region within Europe, which has experienced a renewed focus and significant new investments over recent years. There are over 30 facilities upgrading biogas to biomethane across the region, nearly all of which utilize membrane separation technology. The European Biogas Association estimates Eastern Europe to have a biomethane potential from anaerobic digestion of approximately 8.5 billion cubic meters by 2030, increasing to over 23 billion cubic meters by 2050. For thermal gasification, the region is estimated to have a potential of 1.4 billion cubic meters by 2030, increasing to 13.5 billion cubic meters by 2050. So thank you for your attention for this primer. We'll now move into our first presentation. Our first presenter today is Ahto Oja from the Estonian Biogas Association. Ahto has worked as an ESG consultant and researcher in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Finland, Ireland, North Macedonia, Montenegro, and Ukraine. He established his own consulting company, Monis Minek Limited, in 2007 and has developed the Estonian biogas sector since, being biogas market analyst, consultant, the developer, and manager of the first agricultural biomethane plant in the Baltic states. So Ahto, I'll pass the floor over to you.
Thank you. I just share my screen and open the presentation. Do you see my screen and presentation?
Yes.
Good. Yes, started. That's Estonia, just to show how small we are. Actually, size just 45,000 square kilometers and 1.37 million. Inhabitants, so pretty small, just to give the overview of the international audience. Historical insights, the first overviews about the potential was made around 2000, almost 25 years ago. After that, my consulting company, Monis Minek, was established 2007, and we were the establishing member of the Estonian Biogas Association, which was again establishing member of the European Biogas Association. So we are on the scene in Europe since the very beginning. We had one European knowledge transfer project, Gas Highway, transfer the best that time European knowledges and experience to Estonia. And using also this knowledge, we developed Estonian renewable fuel roadmap as part of a long-term energy action plan. And that was kind of the starting point for the sector development in Estonia. So we first really got convinced the politicians and decision makers, and also used the structural funds to support the sector since 2014, I would say. So that's the current situation. Glad to say that from these 33, 8 biomethane plants are working in Estonia. 6 of them are agricultural feedstocks, 2 industrial, and the rest are biogas units on the wastewater, 4 industrial, 3 industrial, and some landfill plants. So that's how the market has developed since 2018, when the first two plants were starting the production. I was involved in one of them, the first agricultural biomethane unit in Estonia, and was in management till this year. So, and we see the growth of the potential at least as minimum 4 times, but in the best case, maybe up to 2 terawatt hours by 2050. That's the feedstock. Very roughly, we can say that up to 100 million or 1 terawatt hours, it's from waste streams, and 75% or maybe 300 million or up to 3 terawatt is potential from grass biomass. And I would like to say that this is second generation, and it's not compete with the fodder or crops for human crops. So it's really the kind of extra or the land what is not used currently. The land is several times analyzed. It shows that then blue, then it's more in use, then red color indicates that that's less used, and there's kind of not used the green biomass. Indicates that in maximum level we can establish up to 40 biogas or biomethane plants to Estonia, to all around. This is for waste streams, agricultural waste. Big slurry upper shows the map, the allocations around Estonia, and lower the dairy or cattle farms, and the yellow shows the transmission pipe of natural gas, so where we can inject for the export. This is the current kind of updated map. Here we can see also the farms, also the piggeries, chicken farms as yellows, and also the biogas plants on the Estonian map at the moment. And here's the black line is the transmission grid. That's the consumption in Estonia. We say that there was maybe around 3-4 terawatt natural gas consumption all over Estonia, and in maximum case by 2050 we can substitute the natural gas with local renewable Estonian biomethane. The graph shows by 15 counties. The yellow is the natural gas consumption per county, and the green column shows the biomethane potential in these counties. So you see almost more than half counties natural gas can be substituted. That's a national plan for 2030 to get obligation 14% renewables in fuel, and the plan is that 3% out of that will be achieved with biomethane in transport. The reason behind this is that other renewable targets for the electricity and the heating or cooling, it's already achieved and are over the target, but in transport it's really on the edge and just catching this target. That's the diesel, or shows the development of the sector with vehicles. In 2012 we made a plan how many vehicles there could be. The estimation was 5,600, and 10 years later the actual situation was better. We had almost 1,000 more vehicles, all in total 6,600 vehicles in transport using the biomethane. And also the buses are half of the counties, almost half of the counties or cities, city transport, which is outsourced by procurement procedure, they are using biomethane. That's the filling station map currently in the website in this biomethane.info, biomethane.info. Everybody can find with addresses and locations in Estonia. And the market has developed with biomethane register, which is run by TSO, Transmission System Operator Elering, since 2021. And biomethane register connects all market participants, producers, sellers, operators, liquid fuel sellers, and also soon the hydrogen. Now also the renewable electricity in transport is connected to this, and it is And also this platform or register issues the certificates and keeps the certification trading platform up. So who are selling either the biomethane molecules or certificates can make the offer there, and others can make the offers and buy these certificates. So as I said, to fulfill the national transport, we have to have 14% of renewables in transport. And this demand can be covered either physical blending with bioethanol or biodiesel, or you can also fulfill this obligation with biomethane certificates. So it really opens the market to the biomethane certificate to all kind of total consumption of fuels in transport. The certificates are tradable against other types of fuels. So you see that's biomethane guarantee of origin or proof of sustainability. So it can be kind of, either, as I said, buy the bioethanol, you can buy the biomethane certificate in one word and fulfill this obligation with that. And of course, this certificate of the production should be sustainable, should answer to the sustainability criteria, which is audited by third party once in a year. We get the annual certificate, and that's also this, you can trade in this register once you have the certificate of answering to sustainability criteria. You have to upload to the register that. And this is the solution to cover the gap. This price of certificate of biomethane is solution to cover the gap of biomethane price and natural gas price. So usually the producer get from the molecule the natural gas price, and top of that the biomethane certificate. And in that case, the kind of that's from our TSO presentation, that just first generation biomethane certificate could be up to 20 euros per megawatt. And in the best case, both guarantee of origin and proof of sustainability can be between 50 and 100, and it usually depends from the feedstock, from location, from transport, from carbon intensity, from different kind of factors. And this is the kind of example. This you can also see publicly yourself. The APE is the website address. The TSO Elering keeps this kind of data, and you see that there is it's in Estonian, I can't translate it, but it's bilateral like pre-agreements, 130 transactions were made, and the average price was 103 euros. In third quarter, in the second quarter 2024, it was 131 transactions, and the price was 121. So it's the average price of quarter is indicated in the TSO website, in the Elering website. And also starting from the bottom, the implementation practices not exist, but we are thinking of also importing, exporting. If it will be imported, then it has to be physically achieved to here, and it has a contract with the seller, and it has to be provided state aid. And this amount what is imported to Estonia, it has to be excluded from the exporting register, so not to avoid the double counting. And if we want to export, it's also now kind of by the legal acts, it's possible. We can inject to the to the transmission grid, to the category, and then in that case, the certificate will be removed from Estonian register and will be kind of transferred to the imported country and will be counted as their part. And that kind of the European cross-border system is that the registers of different countries has to make agreements, either bilateral or maybe in the future pan-European, and then the producers and transporters and sellers through these registers can trade, import, export biomethane. And the last 7 slides were from Kadri's Rehtorel from her presentation, so just clarity. I didn't count it in minutes, so I think we are close to 10 minutes. Ryan.
Yeah, approaching there.
Yeah, so just not to read them, but showing that how the market has developed and use transport. We have the support measure to public buses, public transport in the cities, where they use the biomethane, they get the kind of support which covers actually the higher price of the gas pass. We have the support of the filling stations. Let's say 7 or 8 years ago, we had maybe few. Now we have 28 filling stations. We had a feed-in tariff that's ended. Now we had just finished the investment support to the building the biogas plants. 4 projects got subsidy starting the production in 2026. So as minimum after 2 years we have 12, and there was another 4 was kind of not financed but were applied. So we can say that if they also will build their plants, then the number of biomethane plants will be doubled in Estonia in coming 2-3 years. Also, to some extent, the digester as fertilizer is regulated in Estonia. It has to answer to certain criteria, which is given in these regulations of ministry, and then you can actually sell it as a product and gain kind of extra income of that if you don't have the all digest used by farmer. And that's very plans for the future. 2025 Biogas Association sees the target to reach the 1 terawatt-hour production, 1 million novel cubic meters. The car numbers, passenger cars up to 15,000, heavy duty vehicles and buses up to 3,000, and also 50 methane filling stations. That's our target. Thank you very much, and the questions are welcome.
Thank you for your presentation, and I invite everybody to write any questions they might have for our presenters in the Q&A tab. So one question I have for you is, have you found any effective strategies for communicating with the local community about boosting the awareness towards these projects, that they're not harmful and they're beneficial to the community?
Yeah, that's usually the biogas producers are seeing this kind of fears, which are mainly rising because of less knowledge or no experience. And then if you don't know the thing, then you are afraid just in case. And the way we do it is just to talk, and the best way is just to take the concerned citizens or communities to the existing biogas plants and to explain that the biogas production as such is closed. There is nothing, it doesn't create anything, it's a closed cycle. The only thing is the feedstock might smell, but that's in agricultural plant, it's the manure anyway smells in the countryside. And the digest, when it's very properly digested, it's usually without smell or very, very few smell. There's no weed seeds. It's furthered its nutrients. It doesn't burn the roots of the plants. So there's a very positive kind of, and that's kind of the positive, positively informing the positive impacts of the biogas production. That's usually with the let's say open-minded citizens. They understand it and start to support it. And in best cases, they will start to use the digest in their own gardens.
Great. Thank you. Thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next, we have Martyna Mulica-Musiał. Martyna is a chemical technologist with extensive experience in renewable energy and R&D, particularly in biogas purification technologies for biomethane production. She's an expert at the Polish Biomethane Organization and co-author of the report on the potential for biomethane production in Poland, which will be the topic of her presentation today. Martyna?
Hello, thank you for the kind introduction. I warmly welcome everyone. I am pleased to present the topic today that is not only highly relevant to energy transition, but also closely related to my professional experience. the potential of biomethane production in Poland. So today's presentation takes a closer look at the potential for the biomethane potential. And in my presentation, I will discuss the main conclusion as well as the prospects for the development of biogas production. I hope this presentation will give you a clear understanding of the potential of the Polish biomethane market and inspire further discussion about its importance and for sustainable development. Next slide, please. So a few words about the Polish Biomethane Organization. POB was established on September 6, 2022 to unite industry experts and representatives from leading fuel, energy and heating groups in the domestic market. Our primary mission is to support the development of the biomethane market in Poland. This market holds immense potential to not only accelerate the country's energy transition, but also contribute to achieving energy independence by reducing reliance on energy imports. Through collaboration and innovation, POB aims to pave the way for a more sustainable and secure energy future. So our goals are at the PBO reflect our commitment to fostering the growth of the biomethane industry in Poland. And first, we focus on creating and developing a comprehensive knowledge base and legal framework tailored for the biomethane sector. This foundation is essential for the industry's long-term success. Second, we actively support initiatives and actions that promote the growth of the biomethane sector, emphasizing its critical role in decarbonizing the Polish economy. Third, we aim to influence the development of both Polish and EU legislation to ensure it effectively regulates and supports the advancement of biomethane utilization. Fourth, we strive to shape optimal organizational, legal, and technical solution. This includes facilitating modern production technologies and enhancing biomethane applications and establish effective models for contracting, sourcing, and certifying biomass. And lastly, we represent the economic and social interests of our members at the national, European, and international levels for the necessary support and recognition of the biomethane industry. So together, these goals form a strategic framework that aligns with our mission to position biomethane as a cornerstone of Poland's sustainable energy future. Next slide, please. So one of the reports by the Polish Biomethane Organization, which I was a co-author, examines the potential for biomethane production in Poland. It focuses on the availability of biodegradable waste as a feedstock for biogas production, analyzing three key sources. So first, municipal waste landfills, second, municipal and industrial sewage sludge, and waste from the agri-food sector. The calculations are based on the total amount of these materials available for biogas production. Importantly, the report does not include the use of dedicated energy crops, instead focusing on how existing waste streams can be managed more efficiently and turned into a valuable energy source. This approach highlights the role of biomethane in solving environmental problems, promoting sustainability, and supporting the energy transition in Poland. Next slide. Yes, so as a part of our analysis of the potential for biogas and biomethane production in Poland, we applied a three-step methodology. The first step involved analyzing the availability of feedstock, such as municipal waste, sewage sludge, and waste from the agri-food sector. The second step focused on determining how much biogas can be produced from these materials. And the third step was estimating the potential for biomethane production, which involves upgrading biogas into renewable fuel. The analysis was based on data from sources such as the Energy Regulatory Office, the National Support Center for Agriculture, the Central Statistical Office, as well as scientific research and industry publication. This methodology allowed us to accurately assess the possibilities and future prospects for the biomethane sector. Next slide. So as the first topic, I will discuss biodegradable waste, which can be divided into two categories: selectively collected biodegradable waste and biodegradable waste that forms part of mixed waste. The former serves as a direct source of feedstock for biogas production. Selectively collected biodegradable waste accounts for nearly 36% of all selectively collected waste, and its volume is increasing year by year due to growing public awareness. This trend is clearly visible in the chart below, which shows that the volume of this waste grew from over 1.2 million tons in 2019 to nearly 2 million tons in 2022. Estimating the amount of biodegradable waste within mixed waste highlights the potential increase in biogas feedstock if all biodegradable waste were collected selectively. In 2022, of the total mixed waste of over 8 million tons, as much as 30%, or nearly 2.5 million tons, was biodegradable waste. This illustrates the significant potential for improving waste management and increasing biogas production by enhancing selective collection practices. Next slide, please. Based on the estimated quantity of biodegradable waste, we calculated how much biogas could be produced and then estimate the potential for biomethane production. Currently, biogas production from municipal waste in Poland amounts to approximately 70 million cubic meters, which could already translate into nearly 32 million cubic meters of biomethane. However, this represents only 13.4% of the total biomethane production potential from this feedstock. By producing biogas and upgrading it to biomethane from the remaining unused portion of selectively collected biodegradable waste, this potential could increase by an additional 96 million cubic meters of biomethane. Furthermore, if we consider the potential of biodegradable waste within mixed waste, which is still estimated to be greater than selectively collected waste, the total potential from biodegradable waste reaches nearly 312 million cubic meters of biomethane. These findings highlight the urgent need for development and implementation of advanced waste sorting systems, as well as intensified educational efforts to improve waste segregation. Next slide. And so now let's move on onto sewage sludge, which can be divided into municipal and industrial sludge. For this analysis, both types are considered together. As shown in the chart below, the amount of sewage sludge in Poland has stayed fairly stable over the years at around 1 million tons per year. Sewage sludge is currently used in several ways, including use in agriculture, land reclamation, compost production, thermal processing, temporary storage and co-storage, and of course biogas production. What's important is that producing biogas from sewage sludge doesn't stop it from being used in these ways. The digestate left after biogas production can still be used just like untreated sludge. We should also mention the sewage sludge that has been stored over the years. By the end of 2022, Poland had accumulated more than 6 million tons of sludge. While the sludge initially had great potential for biogas and biomethane production, its energy value decreases the longer it's stored. Over time, natural fermentations release methane into atmosphere, lowering its energy potential and increasing greenhouse gas emission. This shows why it's so important to improve the way we manage sewage sludge so we can use its full energy potential and reduce its environmental impact. Next slide, please. The potential for biomethane production from existing biogas installation as wastewater treatment plants is nearly 33 million cubic meter, which represent 14% of the total production potential from sewage sludge. Additionally, the potential for biomethane production from stored and temporarily stockpiled sludge amounts to almost 23 million cubic meter, and the largest share of the potential comes from the remaining annually produced sludge, which could yield up to 172 million cubic meter of biomethane. When combined, the total annual potential for biomethane production from sewage sludge reaches almost 230 million cubic meter. Next slide. And the final sector we'll discuss is also the one with the greatest potential for biomethane production, the agri-food sector. For this analysis, the sector was divided into 3 segments: food processing waste, livestock waste, and straw. The potential for biomethane production from food processing waste was estimated based on the quantities of different waste types. Among these, rapeseed oil production waste has the highest potential for biomethane generation. The biomethane potential from straw was calculated based on 3 types: rapeseed straw, corn straw, and cereal straw, with cereal straw offering the largest potential of over 5 billion cubic meter. However, it's important to note that straw cannot be used as a standalone substrate for biogas production. It can only serve as an additional component to enrich the feedstock for biogas plants. The most promising potential comes from livestock waste, with over 4 billion cubic meter from manure, over 2 billion cubic meter from slurry, and over 800 million cubic meter from poultry litter. This represents a huge potential that remains almost entirely untapped in Poland. Currently, only 0.1% of manure, 5.4% of slurry, and 0.3% of poultry litter are utilized for biogas production. At present, there are no installations in Poland for upgrading biogas to biomethane, underscoring the urgent need to develop infrastructure to unlock this waste potential. Next slide, please. To briefly summarize the agri-food sector, the potential for biomethane production from food processing waste is over 1.7 billion cubic meter. From livestock waste, the potential exceeds 7.3 billion cubic meter, and from straw, the potential is 6.7 billion cubic meter. Altogether, this adds up to a total biomethane production potential of 15.6 billion cubic meter. This highlights the immense opportunity within the agri-food sector to significantly contribute to Poland's biomethane production capacity. Next slide, please. So, to conclude, the total potential biomethane production from the 3 discussed sectors is estimated at 16 billion cubic meter. However, the goal of this study was also to identify a realistic production potential for biomethane in Poland, taking into account the limitation and challenges discussed earlier in this presentation, such as inclusion of biodegradable waste within mixed waste fraction, straw being unable to serve as a standalone substrate and only as a complementary feedstock in biogas plants, and the fact that the livestock waste potential consider all registered farm animals in Poland. The realistic production potential of biomethane in Poland is estimated at 9 billion cubic meter. It's also important to note that the report's final assessment did not include the potential of dedicated energy crops. And the last slide, please. So thank you for your attention for this presentation. So as you see, the potential for biomethane production in Poland is substantial, but unlocking this potential will require target investments, infrastructure development, and emphasize on sustainability. I hope this presentation has provided valuable insights and highlighted the opportunities within the biomethane sector. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your presentation, Martyna. Maybe one question before we move to our last presenter. So what are some challenges that might be present for scaling up biomethane production in Poland?
So yes, as I said before, that there is a fact that there are currently no operational biomethane plants in Poland. The biomethane market is still in its very early stages, of course developing rapidly, but still in the phase of legislative and technological preparations. Moreover, the number of biogas plants in Poland remains insufficient, especially when considering the raw material potential that could be utilized for biogas production. So regulatory frameworks also present challenges, as current laws are not fully adapted to support the market. So clear policies, including subsidies, guarantees of origin, and feed-in tariffs, are essential to provide stability for producers, and also investor caution further complicates financing, highlighting the need for risk mitigation and financial support mechanism. But fortunately, despite the absence of operational biomethane plants in Poland, there are increasing media reports about the first investments and the construction of biogas upgrading installation for biomethane production. So this is an extremely optimistic signal, indicating that the market is beginning to take its first concrete steps toward real development.
Great, thank you. Thanks again for your presentation.
Yes.
Next, we have Joaquim Cunha. Joaquim is the sales manager for the energy division at Sysadvance. He's responsible for business development, working to create opportunities and lead commercial efforts. The Baltics are one of the markets where Sysadvance is already present, and therefore we are glad to have him with us. Joaquim, I'll pass the floor over to you now.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for the opportunity for being here with you today. Over the next 10 minutes, and after a very short presentation of Sysadvance, I'll try to give you some key insights for specifically for Latvia, to discuss challenges, opportunities, as well as to focus on some of the installations we have been building in the last 2 years. So I'm very excited to be here with you, and let's proceed with the presentation.
Could you move it to full screen, Joaquim?
Yes, I will. Sorry.
Thank you.
Now it is. Very well, thank you. So Sysadvance was founded in 2002. It's a 22 years old company, and we have specialized in the gas separation processes from the beginning. It's a spin-off from the academy, and we have developed products both for industrial, medical, or the energy sector. We started producing oxygen and nitrogen generators for the industry. Then we evolved to medical solutions for hospitals, like medical oxygen that has been very useful during the COVID pandemic. And since 2015, we are producing solutions to upgrade biogas into biomethane. We usually provide turnkey solutions, so we take the product from the client, an inlet gas, and we deliver to the client a product within the specification that is required. And within the upgrading, the biogas upgrading, we have a full range of solutions for biogas upgrading, as well as a different line for landfill gas upgrading. Basically, the company is super specialized in everything that is related to absorption. We have an internal lab that allows us to make real experiments. We have the ability to make numerical simulations. So in the end, we are able to pre-test what is going to happen in real life with a real gas. We keep being a spin-off from the university. We keep a very strong relationship with the university, which allows us to every year integrate people from the academic world, bringing new knowledge to the company. And the company is based, we have a headquarter in Porto, and then we have a company in North America that was created 2 years ago. Going into the subject that brought us here, so this is a map app from EVA. It's the European biomethane map for this year. And here you can see that the eastern countries represent a significant opportunity. We almost don't have biomethane plants over there. Everything is mostly in Central Europe, with the main markets being Germany, France, UK, Italy, and Denmark. So these 5 countries are responsible for most of the upgrading installations. And they are primarily upgrading biogas from agro-waste. The second source for biomethane production would be organic municipal solid waste, as well as landfill gas. Returning to the countries, to the Eastern Europe countries, so we see a significant opportunity. Some countries like Poland, that was previously presented by Martyna, are leading in biogas production. They have a big opportunity. There is a big opportunity for biomethane production, but also Czech Republic and some others. The Baltics, in which I will focus my presentation, precisely Latvia, there is a potential, but there are still some challenges like infrastructure, like regulatory challenges that we need to solve in order to get a sustained growth of the industry. When we look to the biogas production in Latvia, there are 42 plants at the end of 2033, which represents a decline from the number of plants that existed before in 2017. So this decrease was based due to the decrease or some unstable policies regarding feed-in tariffs for the production of electricity and the lack of regulation for the biomethane market. And this led to a reduction of the biogas number of plants. As you see here on the graph on the right, most of them, as it happens in Europe, are from agricultural waste. When we look into biomethane production, the market needs a more comprehensive strategy, as for the time being, no biomethane framework is in place, although a lot of efforts are being made to implement it. The first biomethane plant was installed back in 2020, and they were producing only exclusively for a fleet of vehicles of the company. Later on, as the biogas plants need to transition from electricity to biomethane, as the electricity was no longer viable. Some of them have already made this transition, mainly using their own resources due to a lack of a support policy in place. And this product is mainly being exported. Sysadvance has built one first plant in 2023 and has built 3 others in 2024, which means that at time being we have 4 plants in operation in Latvia. And we know that some greenfield projects are also currently in development phase. Additionally, and as there's a lack of infrastructure, there's a pilot project funded by the European Union in order to install collection point where biomethane producers could take their compressed biomethane in order to inject it on the grid. So like a collection point that will allow to develop a virtual pipeline. Here I have some of the objectives for Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and also Poland. And as you might see, we have in green the potential, the estimate potential from that is reported by EVA, as well as the national objectives defined by the countries. In Latvia, the National Energy and Climate Plan targets 0.09 billion cubic meters for 2030, which would be 10% of the natural gas that is being consumed right now, which is totally important. What is important for development of the market is the certificates market, as most or part of the biogas, the biomethane being produced is exported to neighbor countries. Additional information can also be found with the Latvian Biogas Association, that I'm leaving here the link so that you can go there and get some additional info. What have we done as a company in this market? We have here the first unit that we have installed back in 2023. It's a large unit with a total capacity of 150 gigawatt, which means 3,000 normal cubic meters per hour. And it's biogas exclusively producing from chicken manure. The client is a hog producer, the largest in the region, and it was a challenge due to the difficulty or the complexity of the gas. And it's a project that is seen as a benchmark for similar projects in the region and throughout the world due to this specificity. We are producing biomethane that we are injecting in the grid at 17 bar with a recovery higher than 99.5%. It's an indoor project, as you may see, and additionally, it has the possibility to produce LNG or even to liquefy CO2 in the second phase. Here you have the image. This was when we start injecting, it was the first plant injecting into the Latvian grid back in April this year. Second project, not far away from the first one, and this one is not from chicken manure. This one is from agro waste, with a total capacity of 1,000 normal cubic meters of biogas, also injecting into the grid. This one started in operation last July, so 5 months ago. And from this aerial view, we might see the main components that usually make a biogas upgrading facility. So we have the cooling skid that allows us to dry the gas. After that, we have the sulfurization stage where we remove the H2S from the gas. And after that, we are going to compress it before sending it to a filter to remove siloxanes and VOCs. After that, it goes on the upgrading system. It's purified, and if needed, it goes to a biomethane compressor for injection or for CNG for transport. The second project, still in the nearby region. This one, it's producing 600 normal cubic meters of, or treating 600 normal cubic meters of biogas. And in this case, as we are not close to the pipeline, we are compressing at 250. And the biomethane is traveling to a nearby injection post. It's a project from the same client, so we are using the same injection post for this injection. And here you have a closer look to the installation. Besides the container where we have the PSA, so the upgrading system, we also have an utility area where we have the production of compressed air as well as nitrogen for the neutralization of the plant and for the neutralization of the plant. The fourth project I've mentioned to you, and that started in operation in September this year, so 2024, is also treating 1,000 normal cubic meters of biogas. And again, we are compressing biomethane in order to transport it to a nearby pipeline. So this is basically what we have done. It's true that the market in Latvia is not, there's a lot of potential, there's still potential for growth, but we have been fortunate to install these 4 units in the last a year and a half, which makes us very proud, and we hope to follow opening opportunities in the region, not only in Latvia, but also in the neighbor countries like Estonia, Poland, etc. Basically, and arriving to the end of my presentation, as main advantages of this of our upgrading technology, we have the flexibility. I mean, the possibility to customize the media to adapt to more difficult inlet gas compositions. The specific power that is lower than some technologies that you might find in the market, which in the end is it's very important as a project. Besides capex, they need to be evaluated in terms of opex, so in cost of operation. The possibility to reduce contaminants like oxygen and nitrogen in order to make sure that we comply with the grid specification. A recovery that is higher than 99.5 for the digestion for the biogas coming from anaerobic digestion. And finally, and not least important, the fact that we are the owners of the technology. We are behind the total design of the process and its engineering, which is an assurance for our clients. So this is it. I hope it is helpful, this presentation, to have a better understanding of this market and the region of what can be done. And I remain at your full disposal for any clarification question you might need. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Maybe one question before we ask a more general one for all of our speakers. So as an equipment supplier, what expectations do you have, or what are your experiences working in this region?
Well, we have high expectations for the region. In fact, following these 4 projects, we look for some additional projects that we are actually negotiating, and additional to that, we are opening an office in the regions. So we are going to have a local team, both commercial that we already have, as well as technical people on the ground for assistance and to be closer to our clients. Finally, and I think it's worth mentioning, we do believe that countries like Poland are going to be very big markets in terms of biomethane in coming years. So we are carefully looking to Poland and some other neighbor markets that have potential for biogas production and biomethane production. So very, very, how can I say, very optimistic about the development of the region.
Great, thank you. And maybe one quick question from the audience for each of our panelists before we do a concluding thought. So for the planning and permitting processes, how long approximately in each of the countries you discussed is that process?
In Estonian case, it really depends from the project and from the location and how well it's prepared. Let's say in the worst case, if you really had not proper land use for the production, let's say it's agricultural land, to change it with the special plan might be take 1 year. Sometimes if the local municipality demands the environmental impact assessment full, then it might be take 1 year. Sometimes you can do it in parallel, sometimes you do one after another. So let's say in the best case, if you have the right land with right function, don't have to do the full environmental impact assessment, then the permitting to get the building permit might take months. And in the worst case, as I said, if you have to do the full planning, assessment, building permit, everything, in the worst case, it can take 1-2 years.
Joaquim, do you want to jump in and say?
Right. So we are not directly doing that. So it's usually the client that is running the permitting process. But I would say that it is taking between 1 and 2 years to have the full package in order to start the construction.
Great, thank you. We've gone a little over time. Maybe just one last concluding thought from each of our speakers on their perspectives of the development on the market. Is it optimism? Is it, what do you see moving forward?
From the Estonian point of view, I am pretty optimistic. Has been the biogas supporter, promoter, and designer, consultant, and builder and operator, as I said, last 6 years. And I still believe that in the long term, by 2050, I would see the Estonia to be the same brave as Denmark is, announcing and taking the really strategic objective that Estonia will be 100% renewable, zero or carbon neutral, which means in biomethane case, that, as I said, all the methane molecules in Estonian pipes and consumption are produced in Estonia, and these biomethane, so up to 2-3 terawatt hours by 2050. I can still believe it. That's my vision, long-term vision.
Thank you. Joaquim?
I'm also very optimistic. The doubt we might have is regarding the time that will be needed for the authorities to put in place the regulation. I mean, the certainty in the market, allowing the investors to proceed and to put their money in these type of projects, because it's usually what is delaying. The technology is there, is available, is mature. Most of these countries have already a biogas potential available. So in some cases, we even need to go from the electricity production to the biomethane production. So we have the conditions. It will happen, and I would say that in 10 years, some of these markets will be markets like we find in the most advanced countries in Europe, with some dozens, if not hundreds, of references in the market producing biomethane. It will come. So
Great.
very
Thank you.
optimistic.
Martyna?
Yes, hello, sorry, I have a little disconnection. So I share similar sentiments with the other panelists. Although biomethane is not yet present in Poland, we are actively working to change that. And also there was a question about supporting, and it's I can answer this because it's like for the end of this this meeting. So there is operational support for injecting biomethane into the gas grid in Poland, which has positively contributed to the development of the biomethane market. But so currently there is a reference price in place for installations with a capacity of up to 1 megawatt of biomethane. So when the installation will came in Poland, then we have support, small, but yet we have. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again to all of our speakers, and I apologize to everybody for our jumping over the hour here. That concludes our time today. As a reminder, the webinar recording will be shared with participants next week. If we were unable to get to your questions, we'll share them with our presenters and invite them to send a response to the question via the Biogas community. We invite everybody to join us on the Biogas community platform to stay up to date and view content from our Eastern European Biogas Focus Month, and to participate in our Focus Months next year. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to join us today. And again, thanks to our presenters, Ahto with the Estonian Biogas Association, Martyna Mulica-Musiał with the Polish Biomethane Organization, and Joaquim Cunha with Sysadvance. Thank you.